Hello everybody, it's me again. As you've all probably heard by now, the Jetson Orin Nano Developer Kit is available for purchase. I was fortunate enough to be able to get one, and so we're going to kind of go over it a little bit, the highlights of it, and then we're going to see just how well it performs. We're going to run a Deepstream example on it. We're going to run a RIVA example. We're going to run the ZED camera. We're going to do skeleton tracking, and then we're also going to run the Darknet YOLO example. So, as you can see here, the Jetson Orin Nano Developer Kit is very similar layout to the Jetson Nano Developer Kit and the Jetson Xavier NX Development Kit. As you can see it right here, still has the GPIO pin headers. Over on the left side over here, it has the CSI connections, but now they insert from the side. You have your power connection right here, which is the power jack. That's a much more stable connection. You don't have your two display ports. You don't have two video outs now. You have one. You have a display port. You have your USB 3s right here, your Ethernet, and then a USB-C for programming. Like I said, it's the very same similar layout to the other dev kits. Now, I'm going to put a link into this and to link it to other people that do a much better job at explaining the specifics about the board. But we're just going to go over the highlights and then we're going to like demo it and see how she does. Take her around the block. So basically we're going to compare the Jetson Xavier NX series to the Jetson Orin Nano series. So as you can see, the NX, Xavier NX is 21 tops. The Orin Nano was 40. The Xavier NX is 384 core Nvidia Volta architecture. The Jetson Orin Nano has a 1024 core Nvidia Ampere architect. The Jetson Orin Nano has a 625 megahertz GPU max frequency, and the Jetson Xavier NX series is the 1100 megahertz. The CPU for the Jetson Orin Nano series is a 6-core ARM Cortex 64-bit CPU, and the Jetson Xavier NX is a 6-core Nvidia Caramel ARM 64-bit CPU. So, really good comparison, I think, to say is if you have a Jetson Xavier NX and you have a Jetson Nano Dev Kit, that's going to be about the performance gain you're going to get in comparison to the Jetson Xavier NX series and the Jetson Orin Nano series. So it's going to be quite a performance gain. You know, I almost really think that they need to drop the nano word for the Jetson Orin Nano because it doesn't even compare to like a nano, the nano vibe. You know, it's better than the Xavier NX series. So, but anyway, so that's about it for the comparison. And then when you go, this is the landing page when you go to buy it, and the information about it. I'll put a link to this. The Nvidia Jetson Orin Nano Developer Kit, accelerating entry-level edge AI applications, which is really what this is all about. Is a quick the Jetson Orin module goes up to 275 trillion operations per second tops, at 8 times the performance of the last generation for multiple concurrent AI interface pipelines. Now that's the key here. With the last iteration of this, like the Xavier NX, you really can only run one thing at a time. You can either run a Deepstream model or a RIVA model, you know, or one, just basically one thing, and you really tax the device. I noticed that the Orin line of modules, they're really designed to run multiple things. Like for example, is at one time. For example, I have a example of the Jetson Orin AGX AGX developer kit running like RIVA and Deepstream, and there was a I can't remember what else it was, all at the same time. So that's what we're moving to run multiple concurrent AI interface pipelines at the same time. And then they go to a little more explanation. Get your products to market faster. You can buy an Orin developer kit. Buy the modules. Here's some resources for you. Uh, Partner ecosystem. Here's some applications you want to get. Getting started with the Jetson Orin Nano developer kit. I'll put a reference to this one right here. And here's your technical specifications. We kind of went already over those. And just for the price wise, this is a good idea what the price is. Jetson Orin Nano developer kit is $499. And then they have the AGX Orin developer kit, which is $1999, and you can still get the Jetson Nano developer kit for $149. And it looks like I don't think they're going to have the Xavier NX developer kit available anymore. It doesn't look like that's what they got anymore. So, but you kind of don't need that now. I think this is the kind of your entry level of your high performance dev kit right here, the Jetson Orin Nano developer kit. Let's get started. Let's see what we can get this baby to do. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to I got a ZED camera, ZED, and I've already downloaded the SDK for it. As you can see, they have right here the jetpack ready for the Orin, and so I've downloaded that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the G streamer, Stereolabs ZED streamer GitHub repo, and we're going to run some skeleton tracking. So if you look down here after you do your install, you have some script here where you can run a couple things. So I've already got it set up here. So let's go ahead and do a little skeleton tracking. They say I've got my Jetson stats up here. Make sure, let's clear our cache. Alright, so let's go. Okay, let's see if it'll pick them up even with my head. See, so we're tracking the skeleton. You can see like this, it's doing my eyes. It says it's running about 15 frames a second, so that's not bad. But it actually looks faster than that. See, I'm checking my skeleton. So, ow, kitty, don't do that. Let's get back a little farther. Anyway, so that's a little demo of the skeleton tracking that you can do on the uh, Jetson Orin Nano. And as you can see, we didn't use up very much resources here, so that's pretty good. We're gonna move on to we're gonna try what's next is we're gonna do a little uh, darknet. So that'll be interesting. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, so now we're gonna run darknet on here. And as you all know, darknet is what YOLO comes from. And I always like to use, like I say before, the YOLO models because they really seem to tax the GPUs and the processors and everything. And I mean, if you want to know how your board's going to perform. This is going to kind of tell you how it's going to perform. So what we're going to do is I downloaded the Darknet GitHub repo, and then I went ahead and compiled it, and I've got the Darknet here. So we're gonna, this is Darknet. This is not Deepstream. This is straight up Darknet, and we're gonna run the YOLO 4 model. And what it is, when I compiled the Darknet, I compiled it to run on the ZED camera. So we're gonna use the ZED camera to run YOLO 4 on Darknet. Now this isn't tiny YOLO. This is full YOLO. So let's see how that goes. And let's make sure clear our cache here. Right here. Let's start here. All right. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So we're going to run a YOLO 4, Cocoa data, and like I said, I compiled it to run on the ZED. So let's see how this goes. All right. So here we go. Let's see. What else can we see here? Have it pick up the monitor and the mouse. We're running 5 frames a second. How much memory we using? So we're using a lot of the memory, and we're really taxing it. So, all right. So this is another example. Like I say, this is Darknet YOLO 4, full-blown Darknet. So that's actually not that bad. So if we wanted to get our frames up to about like 30 frames a second, we'd probably run tiny YOLO. But like I say, this if you are going to run Darknet, and if you're going to use your ZED camera, make sure you check the box to compile it with ZED camera. All right. All right, that's it for now. So okay. So first up, we're going to do a little deep stream. So what I've done is I've downloaded Deepstream 6.2. So we're going to Deepstream 6.2 sources object detector YOLO, and we're going to run the Deepstream app config YOLO v3.txt file in here. And I always like to use YOLO as my kind of testing, because I've noticed that it usually, it's first of all, it's like, to me it's the best object recognition kind of algorithm that they have, and it really likes to tax the devices. And then you also have the option of doing tiny YOLO or regular YOLO, and so we're going to run the just a regular YOLO 3 deep stream model, and we're going to see how it performs. And of course, we you can't be without our Jetson stats up here. It shows how things are going. So, and we'll utilize that. Got to get that. So what I'll do is I'll probably skip over some of the this, because as it compiles the engine, and once we get to it, I'll get going. And there's a little. I'll show you when it gets to a point, and something you want to keep a eye out for. And one thing I want to point out though is when you're running this and it's compiling the engine, you're gonna see this, and this is just saying that it's having memory issues. But don't worry about this; it's fine. Okay, so here's a little demo reel I put together, and this is what I use for testing. And as you can see, we're running. It's picking up cars, and it actually picks up the people inside the cars also. Let's find a good one. Person. See, we're running about 50 frames a second. You can see we're not taxing it too much. Look at the memory. It's doing pretty good. It's taking some memory out with the GPU. So This is just an example running about, like I say, 50 frames a second. And this is kind of expect the same thing from the Xavier NX. So, let's see. It's doing a good job of picking everything up. It's a cow. So anyway, the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to run this again, but we're going to run it with the fake sync, and then it shows you how fast it run it. Now, the way we do that is when we want to just process data, and then this one does about like 90 frames a second. So let me just go ahead and kill this. Make a change here. Fake sync. Save. And let's go ahead and before we do that, clear our cache. There we go. Now let's go ahead and try it again. Okay, so now we're running the same program, but we're just processing the data. So in case you wanted to do that, you didn't need the video, you just wanted to process the data and take out all the data points that you need. As you see, run about 85 frames a second, so that's pretty good. How's our memory doing? So we're running, our memory's kind of pretty full. GPU, so it's running about the same, except it's running much faster. So that's just that shows the capability of the Jetson Orin Nano dev kit. All right, so we're going to move on to the next subject. So, bye.
Okay, so for our final demo, we're going to run the RIVA. What this is called this transcribe mic. And as you can see over the right here, it's transcribing what I'm saying, and it took me a bit of a it took me a while to get this to run. This RIVA is really memory intensive. As you can see here, you can see it's taking up a lot of memory, and I really had to thin it down to get it to work. So let me kind of show you like what I did to get it to work. So of course I start here, RIVA Skills Embedded Quick Start, and then I did all this, and then one of the things they want you to do is they want you to go to ect docker damien.json and put this in there. So this is what I did. I put the default runtime Nvidia, and then I also added the full path to where the container runtime is. I did that, and then another thing I noticed is this, when it downloads the models, it puts a lock on here. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I removed the lock by, let's see, doing this, the Chmod, and I got rid of that, so I removed the lock from it. And the other thing I did was, I took the config.sh, and what I did is I only enabled the ASR. Everything else I did false. And then the other thing I did was right here, device to 1. I set that. Now, it says right here the model deploy key, TLT encode. And I tried using that as the key because it'll ask for a key occasionally. But I didn't. I used the key that I generated when I set up my setup right here. So that was pretty much it to get it to run. And I did basically followed all the commands right in here. Bash RIVA initiate, bash RIVA start. And then what other thing I did was, let's get this going. So I did that, and I got it to run. It took me a week to kind of figure this thing out because I think it's so memory intensive that it just didn't like all that stuff crammed into it. When you start this, the start, it'll drop you into this root right here. Go to CD examples, and then this is where you run your Python scripts. And they're here, tutorial or examples. And right here we're running this. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I like this program because this is a Python program, simple for me, and this is a perfect example of if you want to command things like light off, light on, because it takes a sentence and then goes to the next one. So you can execute commands with this, like, very good. Robert, well, thank you. So I hope you like this preview of the Jetson Orin Nano dev kit. So, go out and get yourself one. Bye.